The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
It is 7 minutes after 9 o'clock. I have to make up for lost time. Carol Ann Baldwin is in the studio. We are in the garden with Carol Ann right now. So if you have a question about gardening, lawns, anything that grows green from a seed with fertilizer, with mulch, Carol Ann is here to answer your question. The number is 622-9622. It's a full-hour show, and so you are definitely welcome to call in at any time, but I think the sooner the better, because sometimes the answers are a little bit long, right?
Right, or it gets us into a bigger discussion.
That's right. Right.
So we have more time to get into in depth.
And a rule of doing radio is not to eat before you go on the air.
Right.
But I did eat some of your boiled peanuts. So
yes, you did.
Thank you for bringing them in.
Oh, yeah.
So it's my second time ever having boiled peanuts.
Right, because our discussion the other week was a little bit on boiled peanuts, and you had some in a convenience store the other day. Yes, stopped at a convenience store and said, they're whatever. They still just tasted like soft.
They tasted like boiled peanuts. They tasted like peanuts that had been boiled, yeah.
Right. But
I don't know what I was expecting, but...
Well, yeah, that's it, is you're not, I'm not sure. But the homemade kind with it's a smaller, the Valencia peanut is just has a little bit different texture.
And
that they're not
Valencia.
cooked, and that they're not sitting there in a hot salt water bath for hours at a time.
That part of it?
And where they just get really soggy taste.
So do these grow here in Ocala? Could you grow them in
Yes, you can grow them in Marion County. Yeah, I've grown them at home before.
Oh, that's right. There's a big peanut place over in Williston, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, the peanut processing plant. There's a lot of peanuts grown in Central Florida, and a lot of the green peanuts are grown, just on small farms. The green peanut versus the roasting peanut. The roasting peanuts,
right, I
believe, are a commodity, to where that's actually regulated on how much can be grown in the country, in order to keep the price. That's one that on the Florida Ag Report, you will hear about, the peanut crops and things like that.
Right.
Has nothing to do with the green boiling peanut usually. Oh. I mean, there might be some mentioned in there, but I don't think the green boiling peanut is one of those commodity peanuts.
I have a question for you from the Ag Report. Mm-hmm. Why would a peanut ever be pagan?
It's pegging, not pagan. Not P-A-G-A-N.
The peanut's a pagan, he says.
It's that P-E-G instead of P-A-G.
What does it mean? What's that actually mean?
It's actually when the peanut plant's kind of a in a ground cover. In a way, it'll hug the ground, and they have pretty little yellow flowers that'll stand up over the top, and then those will turn around and peg to the ground, creating your peanut underground.
Oh, it comes up and goes back down?
Yeah, the flower is up on the top, and then it pegs down. Because peanuts are an underground crop. They're an underground legume. They're a bean. They're not a nut. They are not a nut. They're actually a legume. And,
that is an amazing fact. I didn't even know that. They went up and went back down?
The peanut's
a pagan.
Pegging.
That's how they say it on the Ag Report.
he got a good Southern accent.
Got the peanuts out there. They're pagan.
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
which means they're beginning to produce, though it's not harvesting yet. It's the production is beginning. Kind of.
Now
thing.
I know. I had no idea. Yeah, I figured he wasn't really saying pagan, but it's
right.
But he does. He does say pagan. He does not say pegging.
Well, but it's P-E-G-I-N, pagan. With the apostrophe in there somewhere. Yeah,
that's funny.
But yes, they're.
Am I the only one who has ever heard it that way? Like when you hear it, do you hear pagan?
Oh,
Pagan?
yeah, probably, yeah. But I know what it means.
Pagan.
Yeah.
It's pagan.
But I
like
think
Halloween.
I think I hear a
Halloween's
little bit.
Pagan.
I think I hear a little bit of the E in there. There's no G, but I do hear the E.
So how you doing?
I'm doing well.
How'd the rain?
Busy.
How did you get the rain's okay? Last couple.
Oh yeah, it was all okay. It was just yesterday morning, and it's lightning and all the rest of that. I'm going, why do I have to get up for work? I'd rather just be hiding not hiding, but enjoying under the covers because it's icky out.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, by the time, and I prepared for it too. I put on boots to go to work. I actually had the long sleeve. It sounds funny to wear an SPF shirt on a rainy day, but when those get wet, if you get wet, you're a little warmer with long sleeves, even though because they quick dry. I made sure I had my raincoat. I carried I didn't carry my umbrella into the store because by the time I got to work, there was still lightning. But by 10 o'clock, the sun was out, and I'm going, yeah, really? Okay, I made it stop.
Did you know the word umbrella is two French words together? Umber meaning shade and ella meaning small.
Oh. Well, a lot of our words are all...
Small shade.
Small shade, that's it.
Never knew.
And you would have thought that would have been parasol because we use them to protect from rain,
Parasol.
not for sun as much.
Sun? Yeah. Parasol. Yeah, sol, I guess it's sun. I don't know.
Sol would be sun.
Ready for the phone?
Sure.
All right. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Say, I've been down here in Florida now, about getting close to 25 years. I think this has been probably the wettest rainy period that I've gone through, or very close to it. And I wish I almost would have kept track. I got a couple of rain gauges in my yard, but I would be willing to bet that I'm close to between 15 and 20 inches of rain since May.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And actually, the guy on the news the other night, on the weather report the other night, was saying that we are, just all of Central Florida, all of Florida itself actually is like way over 100% of our rain. That we're almost like double what we should have. Or what we normally receive by this time of year, mostly because such the wet May. May rained, I think, almost every single day. It seemed like
it's unbelievable amount of rain in May, and usually it's almost to the end of May before you get your normal everyday jobs.
Right. Yeah. Usually you get, we always have the April showers bring May flowers. No, for us we get May showers bring June monsoons. But yeah, May was just a very, very wet month, and we didn't have that break because a lot of times the first part of May you'll get some rain. In the first 14 days you'll get 5 or 6 days with some rain in it, and you're thinking, oh boy, here's the rainy season, and then it quits for 2 or 3 weeks, sometimes into the second week of June, and you're going, oh my God, will the rain ever come back? And this year we just didn't have that. We had rain. And it's definitely been a monsoon season, and it's, or as my mother-in-law always used to call August was the jungle season, because you could not keep up on the weeding and the pruning and the trimming and things like that. There was just no way.
Yeah, for the first 5 years when I moved down here, I lived on a lake out in the national forest, and it was beautiful out there, but the water levels really got really low. And I'm looking forward to driving out in a couple of weeks, maybe towards the end of August, and just seeing where the lake levels are, if they haven't come back a little bit, which I hope.
Oh, I'm sure they've all come back, because, they're talking right now, a lot of the rivers are way above usual stages, and I think the lakes are all up. Payne's Prairie is continued to be, it seems like, reverting back to the lake that it used to be.
Yeah. Agriculturally speaking, in Florida, I know Southern Florida's got more than we do here, and they probably get more rain. Is there any crops that are in problems when they get too much rain?
Oh, sure. A lot of the crops can be affected if there's too much, or tomatoes and that will actually split if there's too much water, because they just can't process it. The tomato itself just cannot take in, because it can't grow fast enough. to take in all that water. So they'll begin to split and crack, making them unsellable on the fresh market. I guess they could be, used in the juice market, where they can find another use for them, but on the fresh market that they start to get damaged. Underground crops, say the peanut crop and things like that, your fields are mucky, you can't get in there with your equipment to harvest, and a lot of different things like that. So an overabundance of water is not necessarily a benefit, and you probably see that more often when you get into the northern states who don't get this quantity of rain during their growing seasons, that when they do, it is a flooding type condition, and you see crops that just rot because they can't get to them.
Yeah, well, I prayed for rain, and it came true, so in a way, you kind of almost be careful what you pray for, I guess.
Well, we know we're going to get rain usually, unless we're coming into a drought condition, and that we've not seen in a couple of years. I think we've been pretty good, and and it all depends on how the winter affects us as much. But we realize too, with this amount of rain, with these warmer our warmer temperatures, things are growing like crazy. So we have to watch those weeds and things, those vines that'll travel from natural areas into our yards, and keep those, because it's in the wintertime, and I know here we are in July, and I'm talking about winter when we're dry, that those things become brittle and can become fire hazards later on.
Yeah. Well, okay, it looks like more rain today, so Thank you very much, and stay dry.
Oh, yeah, everybody.
Thank you, Hugh.
Yeah, that's and that's just something we have to live with, through here. And I call it the monsoon season. I know that's not what they call it monsoon seasons in Southeastern Asia and South America, things like that. But it's almost, like that for us. I mean, now yesterday's rain actually was a product of a cold front. That was not our normal rain, because we don't get rain all day long. Normally you start out your morning in your mid-70s. It quickly climbs up, cloud-free up into the 90s, and then you have that heat and the collision of the Atlantic and Gulf sea breezes, and kaboom, we've got thunderstorms that last, anywhere 20 minutes to hour and a half. They're gone. Continue the rest of your day. Mm-hmm. And this, that what we had yesterday was a different, and you could see it when the guy in the news, it showed you that weather map, and you saw that it was actually like that jet stream coming down, dipping into Florida, coming back up, and they've gotten this weather all the way up the East Coast, because I've got friends up, and they're saying, I think I took the rain back to Jersey with me.
It was interesting to look at the radar, because as the rain was forming like right over us, it wasn't really being flown in like it usually is.
Right, it wasn't. Yeah, it was just it appeared. Right. But was that lightning something else? So people take the lightning seriously. We are I don't know if it's officially or whatever. I think Tampa's actually lightning capital of the world, but Central Florida is big in lightning, and it is a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning that's been going on. And I think this season already that there have been 4 people struck by lightning in Central Florida, on the coast. 2, I believe, passed away because of it. The other 2 were just injured.
Oh, really?
So take it seriously when you hear when you hear the rumble. There's a little something, take cover, because you don't know. And you hear that thunder, that lightning's not far behind or far away. So, that doesn't.
I think we're up against the break, Carolyn. So let's do a little break. If you want to call in, you are, of course, invited to do that. This show will last all the way till 10 o'clock, so you have plenty of time to call in. But don't wait. The sooner the better, because they'll answer something like the last one. You had a nice conversation with you, and that's what we like to have. So the number is 622-9622. We'll be right back.
Howdy, folks. RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char-grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. And the burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Attention WOCA listeners. Do you or someone you know have an outgoing personality with great organizational skills? Well, WOCA is looking for a few good people to join our marketing reps team. You get to meet other great people and business leaders in our community. WOCA Radio offers flexible schedules, great income potential, and some really great fringe benefits, too. So if you enjoy talking to people and getting paid to do it, this may be the right choice for you. Apply within or send your resumes to careers@WOCA.com.
In the good old summertime, it takes you back, doesn't it? Makes you think and remember. What did you do in the summertime when you were a kid? At Palm Garden of Ocala, we see folks who are young at heart, but their bodies are giving them a tough time. Our goal for every guest we serve is to bring them to their highest level of independence. Come visit us soon. We're located on the corner of Southwest 27th Avenue and 34th Street. And when you're in the hospital, ask for Palm Garden by name.
Say, are you looking for some really different yard decor? Then, my friends, you need to step inside the genuine, friendly, old-timey greenhouse at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens in Ocala. You'll find a huge selection of bird bath fountains, of waterfalls, pottery, garden flags, and those ever-popular wind chimes, all at 10% off. And many items are marked down by 20%. Bob's famous no-float pine straw mulch, it won't float away, it won't blow away. Everybody's favorite, priced as low as $4.75 for a large bale when you buy 10 or more. Check out the shade tree sale too. Large size trees now selling for a record low $49.99. Go to bobwinescameliagardens.net. Then head on over to Bob Wines on Southeast 38th Street. Daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 3 in the same blooming place since 1952.
Thank you, Bob. 23 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's return to Carol Ann Baldwin. The show is called In the Garden with Carol Ann because Carol Ann specializes. I don't know what I was going to say there. Specializes in everything. You're a master gardener. Yeah. You brought in some boiled peanuts for me to
sample.
Compare.
Yeah. Compare. There you
to
go.
the convenience store ones I had.
Right.
And I would say these do win the contest.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because they got a little bit of a flavor in addition to the peanut flavor. Do you add something to them?
Just salt.
Well, maybe that's what it is, because that's what I pick up on. Yeah, salt.
But that's I mean, and like I said, just anything commercially processed usually is different.
And maybe you say because they're boiled too long in the store.
Yeah,
right?
that they're sitting. Yeah, that they were cooked elsewhere and they're kept warm there at the convenience store. So I think they begin to lose quality.
I like the idea that I could grow them in my own yard if I wanted to.
I mean, you'd have to. It takes a large area to grow enough to take it to really do something. I mean, if you had a big. Deep enough container, because they do grow underground, that it needs to be probably at least a foot or so, 16 inches deep.
Oh, really?
That you can, you could do at least a few. It'd be kind of fun.
You have a phone call.
Great.
Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning, Carol Ann,
hey.
Larry. We're talking about the weather and this rain pattern for the entire country. And if we look from like the Midwest or even from like Ohio west, they're dying of the heat and the rain.
Yeah.
And there's one record-breaking temperature day after another out west where we're getting all this rain.
Yeah.
And if you look at a thing called solar weather, you'll find that our sun is more active today than I think it has been for a very long time.
Yeah, you get the solar activity does affect.
Yeah, and this is all radiation. It's the basically UV rays striking the earth.
No, and a lot of times, if we're wet over here on the East Coast, especially in Florida, California and such is dry. Same thing in the wintertime. If California is cold, we're warm, or vice versa. If they're warm, we're cold. It's just the way weather patterns work. It's But
I honestly believe the extreme temperatures and extreme rain and everything else is actually caused by the sun emitting more radiation than normal.
What would be considered
normal when you take into the readings and monitoring of the various rays. And I was surprised that the people were monitoring the sun's activities all the way back to the 1800s. Wasn't it 18 something or other? We had no summer.
I'm not sure. That might, on that one, on those, usually you can probably find another reason on that, but then you're right, but there's cycles. There are also cycles of the solar storms and solar activity that affects that same way with your tides affected by the moons, and how the moon phases go like that. But and much of this is a cycle, and they may have been kind of tracking it back a couple hundred years ago, but they did not. I don't think have the gauging that we have today. Obviously, they didn't have the technologies we have today to be able to read that.
I was really surprised to see that they were able to. They did measure intensity or UV, but they did have a form of a means of measuring it. And I was very surprised about that. The other thing is, like, if you're on your computer or iPad, you have either the Weather Channel or one of those. If you keep scrolling it down, you'll see what they call the UV index.
Sure, and that's
always been very high lately.
Well, it's summertime, so it's that but that UV index is basically for us as people going outside. If the UV index is low, you're probably not going to need the sunscreen today because guess what? It's overcast. If it's high, be sure to limit your exposure just because you can, the sun damaging or skin damaging rays from the UV. But I mean, we can have sometimes high UV indexes even in the wintertime because we have clear skies and, the sun coming through.
Well, with the use the NOAA solar weather site. There were a few days here where we didn't have any sun; it was all overcast. But yet they gave the UV indexes very high.
Yeah,
so it's just shade can, the weather.
Overcast can be misleading. I've seen people go to the beach and on an overcast day and come home much more sunburned than if they would have gone on another day because the cloud cover, it makes you feel cooler. So it keeps the temperature down, but it's not necessarily deflecting or preventing the UV rays from coming through.
Well, the other thing with it is how does the solar intensity affect our crops?
I don't see where it does. I mean, I don't think there's anything been measured that it has affected them at all. I mean, I think the effects would be coming from whatever issues in higher temperatures and rainfall, if that is being actually affected.
Well, all I know is I'm sitting here talking to you guys, and I'm watching the grass grow here for crying out loud. It's ready for mowing already.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Sonny.
All right. Have a great day, everybody, and thank you for the programming. It's very enjoyable and also informative.
Oh, good. Good. Thank you. All right, we're up against a break. Let's take that break. We'll be right back. Remember, Carol Ann is on until 10. 622-9622 if you'd like to be on the air.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster. Satellite images show the North Koreans may be making good on a promise made during last month's summit with President Trump.
According to an analysis of images by 38 North website, the regime has been dismantling its main missile engine test site over recent days. The facilities included a rocket engine test stand. Another facility was identified as a space launch vehicles and a rail-mounted processing building.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. Extreme weather is affecting Americans on both sides of the country. Heat in the west, rain and flooding in the east.
Excessive heat warnings and heat advisories stretch from the desert southwest through California and up towards the Pacific Northwest. Many record highs will be possible. Meanwhile, excessive rainfall and flooding is likely over the East Coast from Florida to Maine. Flood watches and warnings are up for parts of the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Are you taking Viagra and tired of paying $50 per tablet? Marley Drug has generic Viagra for just $10 per tablet. $10 for generic Viagra is a savings of $40 per dose. Call now and get free shipping on 10 tablets or more of generic Viagra. Marley Drug is a North Carolina pharmacy licensed in all 50 states. For information, go to marleygenerics.com or call us at 800-452-1760. That's 800-452-1760.
Dad, what are you doing?
Cramming for college.
I'm the one going to college.
Yeah, but we need to figure out how we're going to pay for it all.
Discover Student Loans.
Discover does student loans?
Yeah, they're one of the top student loan lenders in the country. It takes 15 minutes or less to apply, and there are no fees for the life of the loan. Best of all, I can earn cash rewards if I get good grades.
Really?
Yeah, we still have time to apply and get a great rate.
So I can just chill. College kids still say that, right?
No one says that, Dad.
Really?
Yeah.
Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply.
Repticon presents Rep Today, the one-day reptile event in Gainesville, August 11th. It'll be at the Wyndham Garden at 2900 Southwest 13th Street. Call 863-268-4273 or go to Repticon.com for more information and to buy tickets. This may not be Jurassic Park, but you will be able to have live animal encounters and see thousands of reptiles and other exotic animals. August 11th, Wyndham Garden, Gainesville, because kids of all ages love reptiles. Rep Today. Pete Anderson is a candidate for School Board District 5 and asks for your vote because he has been a Marion County District 5 resident for 19 years. The last 12 years have been spent teaching in Marion County schools and comes with 10 years of management experience. Pete Anderson says our public schools should be among the best in the state. He wants to work with you to make our classrooms student-centered. Paid for by Pete Anderson Campaign, Kim Monday, Treasurer.
All right, 28 minutes before 10 o'clock. It is 77 degrees and cloudy. It feels like 86 degrees, according to AccuWeather.com. They also say, Carolyn, the winds are from the south at 6 miles per hour. The humidity is 93%. The pressure is 29.93 and rising. The UV index is 2. The cloud cover is 100%. Look at all this information.
Oh, yeah.
The ceiling is 19,400 feet.
So if you're flying.
The dew point is 75 degrees, and the visibility is 10 miles.
There you go. Looks like a pretty good day.
What else do you need to know?
It looks like a pretty good day.
And you do have a phone call.
All right.
Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Carol Ann?
Yes.
I am growing the prettiest crop of little mushrooms. And I was wondering, why do they always come around when it's raining a lot? I'm sure there's a good... I'm sure they're doing something good.
Well, I mean, there's organic material under the soil is where they're coming from, and it's the heat, the humidity, the rain. It's their time of year generally to pop their head up is here in July and into August, even into September. And many times if it's like the white mushrooms and stuff, they're also known as fairy ring. Sometimes you will find them growing in straight lines or in circles. Sometimes you'll find that the grass, if you actually look straight down at your grass, at your lawn, that it's even just a different color going around that area. It's underground organic material, and they're popping up from that fungi's on there. There's nothing you can put on the lawn to stop it. Some people, I think they're kind of cute myself,
I do too.
It's little temporary natural fairy gardens that little pop up kind of through. But if people don't want them there, just get a bag, go gather them up. They're not toxic to touch. The white ones don't have any smell. Just gather them up so they don't spore again for you. And I'm not sure if that actually would help to try to get rid, to lessen that quantity. A lot of times you have to watch so that the lawn in some of those areas doesn't become dry. And even with all the rain, there's a microbiological action that goes on underneath there that makes part of that soil like hydrophobic. It won't take in that moisture. It just sort of repels it, and that certain areas that even somebody will come to me going, well, my lawn guy tells me I need to water more, and I'll go, yeah, no, you need to break that up, kind of thing, that you need to change that, get that opened up. And so it may be something like that. If you're seeing some areas that just look dry in that yard, it's part of fairy ring.
Okay. Interesting.
So, yeah.
Oh, I had heard at one time that they were also good for cleansing certain toxins in the yard. I don't know where that came from.
That I don't think. Like I said, it actually possibly just the opposite is that that area, that the soil even in that area can be just a little bit messed up. And that's causing that hydrophobic. But I don't think I've ever heard anything on fairy ring being beneficial, or that the mushrooms themselves being beneficial to the landscape.
Okay. Well, I liked the idea, but...
Sure.
Okay. And I have one more thing that I learned about recently. A veterinarian was telling a friend to put her horse out to graze at a certain time of day because the grass is much more nutritious at certain times, at certain hours of the day due to the sun.
It could be, and I would think that maybe that would be early morning when the dew, you've got dew and moisture on the grass, so that there's a little more. And if we've had any rain, we all know that the nitrogen, that the rainwater provides nitrogen to the soil, so that grass, whatever it has taken up over the evening, would be right there available. Into that grass, whether or not that's a nutritional value to the horses or anything like that.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I have rabbits I feed too, so.
Oh, sure.
So that's something to think about too.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Enjoyed it.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So I had a mushroom story that was embarrassing, an embarrassing mushroom story.
Well, them stinkhorn mushrooms?
No, I had what do they call those windows? Jalousie. They
open.
Yeah, the top stays close to the house and the bottom goes out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
or the bigger ones are awning. I think they call them awning window. The jalousie was the smaller panes.
Yeah. So there was a leak.
Okay.
The bigger ones then.
Okay.
There was a leak, and it was behind where the TV was. And I was renting. Okay, so you need to know those three facts. Right. Okay, so I mentioned it to the landlord, and he said he would get over.
Okay.
So it took him a while, and maybe like a month or so. And when he finally came over, I moved the TV out of the way, and guess what was growing out of the carpet? Right?
And mushrooms growing.
Yeah.
Well, but that was, I don't see, it's a little embarrassing. It's be a little more shocking, but it's ideal conditions.
Yeah,
and if those carpeting, like you say, you're renting, if they're not coming in with a carpet cleaner and making you move furniture every so often, once or twice a year to really deep clean, you get soil particles, or they don't even really need much. They have their own spore. It's just, it came in and created. It's an organic cycle that goes on. And
so you can tell I didn't vacuum behind the TV.
Behind there too often.
Back in those days, TVs were heavy.
Your TV centers, they were, if you moved it twice,
people hang them on the wall now.
Right. Well, and I even as a kid, they say how heavy they were. We had the big stereo console, which was furniture. Your television and your stereo systems were furniture.
Yeah.
And they got moved twice a year.
Right.
Well, that was because they got moved Thanksgiving weekend when it was time to put the Christmas tree up, and then it got moved back when you took the Christmas tree down.
Funny,
but that's the way it worked. At least in our house it did. So it got its good cleaning back there at that time.
It's amazing that life is everywhere on this planet.
Oh, it is, and
in every form it can be, right?
And a lot of times there's some fungi that will grow on your mulch, and people begin to panic when oh my God, what are these things? Is this contaminating? Is it making my soil bad? Is it going to ruin my plants? They look like little, they almost look like little teacups, little saucer type thing, because the cap is upside down, and they are small, about the size pencil eraser, maybe a little larger than that, so a small one. And they just sit upright right there at the mulch level, like growing out of the wood. Nothing wrong with that. That's just natural fungi, decomposition, nice microbial action, good stuff. It's not hurting anything.
And you have a phone call?
Great.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Hi again, you again, real quick. Mushroom is a favorite subject of mine because it's one of my great loves. Yeah. When I lived up north, I had a neighbor. The guy was a wonderful neighbor. He was born and raised in Poland, and they had a cottage up in north central Wisconsin, and he, in the summertime, would come back with, bushel baskets full of edible mushrooms. Right. And I believe that if you eat the wrong mushroom, you might be in trouble. Is it difficult to learn which ones you can eat and which ones you shouldn't be eating?
I would not trust just myself or somebody who says, oh yeah, I went out picking once or twice. I would want somebody who truly knows the area and the edible mushrooms before I would ever chance it. I mean, some of them, I guess, are very distinct on what is edible, but other ones I think could be questionable. Like I said, I wouldn't trust myself to a blog on a Facebook page or anything like that where people are asking questions, because that, from a photograph to tell if it's a good one or a bad one, might not be there. I would be seeking out someone who does this as a true avocation, something that they do on a regular basis, that they study and learn about the mushrooms in their area before I would ever go out and start just munching mushrooms. No.
Is there anybody that you could contact that could teach you which is good and bad, or maybe like in a book or something, or contact
there
somebody
might, there might be some good books out there. There are actually some Facebook blogs that you would just, some group pages that are on, there's a group page for everything, I'm sure, out there nowadays. Just like a club for everything, that you could probably find one on there. I've not done any real research on the mushrooms. I've always been one who's been leery on things like that, but I know people who go out and go after, I think it's the morel mushrooms, and they go out, during that season, so they know where to look, what to look for, the proper time of year, to where they know what they're getting. And again, that kind of thing. And there probably are some books out there, but again, Florida's going to be different than what you're going to find up in Wisconsin, or even up into Virginia or Carolinas. So I would want somebody who's done most of their study here in Florida / Southeast, U.S. kind of thing, to know what I was doing.
Yeah, the mushrooms down here, the ones you usually see are those little white guys all over the place. But I know back up in Wisconsin, I've seen mushrooms that were like half the size of the grapefruit, going around.
Oh, yeah. And you can grow different mushrooms here. I mean, there are, I think you can grow the shiitakes, and you can grow the little white button mushrooms. Occasionally, through Master Gardeners, there's some other garden shows and things like that you can get a hold of the people who will sell you an inoculated log, which all you got to do is wet that thing, put it in a shady location, keep it watered, as they say, and next thing you know, you're growing mushrooms. And after that production, you can get refill plugs of the spore to fill it back up again, because the log is good for several generations of growing mushrooms.
Yeah, that sounds kind of interesting, having a mushroom garden.
Yeah, I keep wanting to do it. Maybe I will. It's a little pricey to get started on it, but I think once you get going on it, it's fun, and you've got mushrooms. I mean, what better? It's, gardening, it's fun, it's exercise, and you get tomatoes. What better?
Well, all I know is I can't eat steak without mushrooms.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. Thanks, Sue.
The phone number, if you'd like to call and speak to Carol Ann, is 622-9622. If you have a question about your lawn, your garden, maybe things you need to be getting done right now for the future.
There's different stuff to get done, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We're getting into that prep again, to that, I call it second spring, that second warm season crop issue, and then coming into our fall stuff.
It's hard to believe, right?
Oh, I know.
And we have another phone call. Good morning, you're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yeah, it's really amazing what people can grow. And in Tennessee, they can put turkey in bottles.
Oh, yeah, the wild ones, too. They get some wild turkeys in there.
Yeah, that's wild turkey bourbon.
Yeah, goes good with ginger ale.
Thank you, Jim.
Have a good day.
Yep.
Okay, so let's take a little break.
And we got a Bob Wines gift certificate.
Yes,
so
we
on
do.
the break, if anybody wants to call in to get a $20 gift certificate to Bob Wines Community Gardens and Nursery.
All right, well, thank you for saying that. So we have it right now, and I'll just answer one call during the break. So if the phone is ringing after the break and I didn't answer it, that means you didn't win, but somebody will. So one of you will get the the prize. So 622-9622. I'll be right with you. This is WOCA Ocala.
Keep up with what's going on in the downtown area with Ocala Downtown Newspaper. Delivering thousands of newspapers to businesses in the downtown area, Ocala Downtown is there to keep you informed. They even have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask in return is that you tell them where you heard about it. It's simple. For more info, just call Tom's Picks, 352-804-1223, and pick up your copy of the Downtown Ocala newspaper today.
And now read Ocala Downtown Newspaper online.
Howdy, folks. RL here for Dairy Queen again to tell you about what's hot and what's not. Dairy Queen has some of the best char-grilled chicken breasts on earth, as well as their chicken breast salad. The burgers are exceptional, cooked on a real grill for the best flavor and less fat. And for dessert, blizzards are unequaled. Personally, banana split is my all-time favorite. Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
You're thinking about selling your home, but where do you start? Easy. Call Angie at 352-361-8359. Angie works with you to get your home sold. Angie is more than just an agent with Roberts Real Estate. She's a pro with heart. Call her at 352-361-8359, and you will know you have the right person.
I'm Angie Umpleby, and I'm looking forward to working with you when you call me at 352-361-8359. That's 352-361-8359.
You know how frogs are so hoppy? It's because they don't smoke or have COPD, otherwise they would be flip-floppy. If you want to quit smoking to prevent yourself from croaking, come to A Better You for a good acupuncture poking. Call me, Dr. Erica Olstein, with A Better You Healthcare to stop smoking today at 352-615-5566. 352-615-5566.
Repticon presents Rep Today, the one-day reptile event in Gainesville, August 11th. It'll be at the Wyndham Garden at 2900 Southwest 13th Street. Call 863-268-4273 or go to Repticon.com for more information and to buy tickets. This may not be Jurassic Park, but you will be able to have live animal encounters and see thousands of reptiles and other exotic animals. August 11th, Wyndham Garden, Gainesville, because kids of all ages love reptiles. Rep Today.
All right, thank you. I'm thanking myself, Carolyn.
Yeah.
How do you ever see these people take those little lizards that we have around here and put them on
Hang
their
them
ears?
on their earlobes. Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
No. They're biting you.
Is that actually cruel to the animal?
I mean, it's sort of a harassment for the animal. I mean, it's like, it's always funny when they put the sign up, no molesting of the alligators. It's like, really? I'm not going to get near them. In a way, you're chasing them around in order to catch them. So, they're thinking you're a giant predator.
Right, sure, you're a dinosaur to them.
So you're harassing them in a way.
But why doesn't it just drop off? Why does it stay there?
It's hoping it's hurting you.
It's
hoping, But I mean, it's hanging there, Hey, it's a long way down.
It's a long way down.
It's a long ways down. I think it's a little bit,
You have a phone call. Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Good morning. Caroline, I've got a question in reference to Florida peach trees.
Okay.
When is the best time to trim them back?
To trim them to start to train them, or to trim them for size?
Well, no, these are mature trees.
Okay.
We picked the fruit, and with all the rain, they have just prolifically expanded all over the place.
Growing, right. I'd probably have to look it up for the best timing for that, because usually we prune in, either in the early spring on things in order to get rid of dead growth and things like that and rejuvenate, or throughout the growing season because it's going to continue to grow. But you're looking to keep that canopy open and not be so massive that when it comes time to harvest. But I don't want to cut off any bloom. If if the peaches have been harvested, I would probably say now would be just using that sense of that it hasn't set its flower buds yet within the branch material. That pruning now would be and here through probably stopping come September.
Do you have a height that you might go to? I mean, right now they're probably, my gosh, 12 to 14 feet tall.
Wow. Yeah, I think a lot of people try to keep them at like that, maybe 8 to 10, just because you're getting too high, and that they bruise so easily. And when you pick them. Right. So not like a citrus tree where if it gets real big, it's okay with that, they don't really bruise. But, anything more probably than about 10 feet is starting to get pretty high.
All right, so between now and September, trim.
Yeah. That would be, at least that would be mine. You could, let's see if we can bring it up real quick. And see if we can get, because I probably should have put that on Florida. Remove shoots above 7 feet. Okay, remove all shoots above 7 feet other than red 8 to 24 inch fruiting shoots, any hanger shoots, water sprouts, anything above the tree line. Okay, where's my timing though? I'm not seeing a timing on it. And where's this coming from? And I'm gonna, like I said, my thought would still be to be thinking on the after fruiting is usually. I mean, that's the way we do it with blueberries. As soon as they stop fruiting, they prune those way back, so they get a chance to recover from that. Okay, peach pruning should remove 40% of the tree each winter. So they're saying winter.
In the winter.
The winter. This reduces the number of fruit on the tree, but it stimulates strong growth of fruiting wood each year. So this and actually this is coming out of Texas A&M. So, I mean, you might look up, because like I said, I did not put the Florida in there, but Texas A&M, with a peach, timing peach pruning, late spring frost, most in Texas, bloom soon after. Pruning in Texas should occur at least by February, just prior to the March bloom. But ours are blooming, January, February also.
In January they have bloom.
Yeah, so you're looking at doing this, probably a little bit before that. So here say in September. So I mean, probably pruning now, August, July, August, September is not gonna be real significant on any loss on it. That with us, you may actually end up starting getting new growth. But any of the water shoots, anything hanging down, you don't want. So I begin probably taking all of that off, and then the reduction on the other side, on the other sizes, here over the period of time.
And 7 foot would be your height?
That's what they've got on here, is anything over 7 feet. Because I guess you figure that when they begin to grow out next spring, you're going to have that next 2 to 3 feet back on there in a hurry.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Thank you so very much.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
And thank you. Thank you for the call.
For now.
It's about 6 minutes left. That's plenty of time if you want to squeeze a phone call in at the end. The number is 622-9622. And I like the idea of growing a tree that grows fruit. Everybody sees my apple tree says, it's not going to be able to produce apples in Florida. And I said, that's what I heard.
We don't know.
That's what I heard.
We don't know. We'll find out.
What
was I going to say? Oh, upcoming, we're always looking at some upcoming events. August 7th is the beginning of another Florida-friendly landscaping homeowners workshop. This one is going to be held up in Reddick. So if that's close to where you're at, to go in, because it is four Tuesdays of the month, starting August the 7th, and they run from, what is it? Where's my timing on here? 2 to 4 p.m. each of these afternoons. So it's an afternoon kind of thing. So if you work days, it might not be something you'd be able to do. But we do these throughout the season. There is a $5 registration fee, and if you attend all 4 of the sessions, you will receive a free yard evaluation where they'll come out and they'll take a look through your yard. They're not diagnosing things; they're going through and evaluating your practices as a Florida-friendly landscape kind of thing. And then there was another one. Let me see if I can do this without messing it up. No, I didn't. There's one coming up also in August, and I wish I'd have had that one up further. It's on hurricane preparedness for our landscape.
Oh, okay.
And I'll make sure I mention that next week on that, or I'll see if I can't link it to ours. That was from the Marion County Master Gardeners Facebook page, so you should be able to find from that. If you're going through there, just look on their events page, because now I got to bring their page back up in order to find it, and we're getting short on time. So we'll deal with colors instead. But coming up, you've got your different plant clinics in the area, in the community. This is Bellevue. No, that was the other day. 17th is that was last week. Let me turn the page. August 3rd, you've got the Bellevue Satellite Plant Clinic at the Bellevue Public Library from 10 to 1. August 4th, you've got the one down at the Downtown Farmers Market. August 7th will be that Florida Friendly Landscaping Challenge 4-part series over at the Reddick Public Library. Also on the 7th is the Dunellen Satellite Plant Clinic. And then August 10th, this is a little bit different one. This isn't the one that's on that I had seen there this morning. This is another one of the Master of the Possibilities Education Center on top of the world. The Master Gardener Series Companion Planting. They say their little description here is all plants talk to each other and decide which ones are desired as neighbors or enemies. Learn how to listen and see what they're saying, because there's certain plants that do. Certain plants. Black walnut, for example, you usually can't grow much of anything underneath the black walnut because the root system itself releases a toxin that's not good for other plants. And I know there's other plants out there, and same way in your vegetable garden. Some plants, they call it companion growing, that you grow them together because they are beneficial to one another, whether or not it's warding off insect pests or encouraging beneficial insects, or that their harvesting and care are just so close together on their needs. Makes them, a much better grouping.
It's amazing how much you need to know. It's amazing how much you know. I don't know. Maybe if we learn one plant at a time, right?
It's just you pick up on a little factoid here and a little factoid there, and eventually you're a little dangerous. That's what I am.
Karen, always fun to have you in the studio. Do you have to work today?
I sure do.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, thank you for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure.
For those who don't know, we thank Carol Ann, especially because she gives us a great hour and she volunteers her time to do this. Thank you, Carol Ann.
Thanks, Larry.
We'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. At least 60 people have been killed in a wind-driven firestorm in Greece. Others ran into the water to escape and had to be rescued by boat.
Nikos Stavronidis saying, "We ran and fell into the water and went as far as we could. Others tried to reach the water but didn't make it. Rescuers reporting finding 20